When you were my age, who did you look up to?
So I think you guys are about 7, 8. So back then I was in primary school, so I used to look up to a goalkeeper called Rachel Brown-Finnis. And she used to come down, she came down to one of our sessions, and like she was a huge role model for me because she was a very, very good England goalkeeper who was a woman as well.
I always find this question quite hard to answer because I don't have a specific answer to who I looked up to when I was growing up. I always played football with people a lot older than me, whether that was at school, in a boys' team, or when I first went to Sun Reserves when I was 16. But in terms of like role models who I had, as in women's footballers, I think when I was young it was all the likes of Kelly Smith, Faye White, Rachel Yankee, Katie Chapman. It was like that era, and obviously they were incredible footballers. Kelly Smith probably being one of the best in the world, well probably was the best in the world at that time. So they were, I would say, probably my role models and who I aspired to be like.
For me, I think when I was growing up, the players which I looked up to within women's football were the likes of Jordan Nobbs and Beth Mead. I remember Beth Mead was in the Centre of Excellence when I was only 7. So I remember I used to sit at the back of the bus with the older ones, so that was something to really look up to, knowing that she was playing for England and I wanted to be like her, and that was kind of my dream as a young girl.
I looked up to Kelly Smith at your age because I played the same position at the time, which was a striker, and I just wanted to be as good as her. She was amazing, she was the top goal scorer, she scored loads of great goals, she had a mint celebration, I just wanted to be her, she was so good.
Who's your favourite player?
I would say my all-time favourite player is Steven Gerrard, being a huge Liverpool fan. But at the moment, probably Alisson Becker, with him being Liverpool's goalkeeper and me being a goalkeeper as well.
Who's my favourite player? If you're referring to who's my favourite player at the club, I'd probably say my good friend Becky Bass, only because we have been friends for quite some time, so I'd have to really say her. In terms of in general, I'd probably have to say I've been enjoying watching Jack Grealish play at the minute, just because of how brave he is on the ball and how attacking minded he is, to be fair. So yeah, either Becky Bass or Jack Grealish.
My favourite player now is Pirlo. I think he's probably one of the best legendary midfielders in football, and just everything about his game is incredible. I remember I used to kind of watch him on YouTube, watch his games, kind of look to learn from him. You know, he had a great vision, great passing, and he just controlled the game incredibly, really. So definitely Pirlo's probably my favourite player.
My favourite player of all time is Kelly Smith. That's because when I was younger, probably as your age, I was a striker and she was a striker, and she's just amazing. She was so good, she was the top goal scorer, and I just wanted to be her. She's amazing.
How much training do you do outside of training sessions?
How much training do you do outside of training sessions? We get set some exercises and stuff to do away from training by our strength and conditioning team, and it all basically just depends on how intense our training is, or if we've got matches or midweek games. But we try and do something like stretching or something like that pretty much every day. But we also add in running sessions sometimes, sprint sessions, anything like that, just to keep us going throughout.
Since lockdown, when the season's been postponed, I've been doing 4 gym sessions a week and 3 running sessions. But when the season's on, I usually do my normal training sessions on the Tuesdays, Thursdays, game Sundays, but I do a gym session on a Monday as well.
So including the 2 training sessions which we have during the week and a match on a Sunday, I also go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week, just kind of to help improve my performance on the pitch, and also just as another hobby which I really enjoy.
So it's a bit different with lockdown. So before lockdown, I would train Tuesday, Thursday and match Sunday with Borough, but I would go to the gym twice a week as well on top of that, just at my local gym where I live. But because they're all shut, I've had to be doing gym sessions in my garage or outside when it was in the summer. Just a bit of everything really.
What pets do you have? I have a hamster called Marshmallow.
Do you have any pets? Yeah, I have 2 cats. I have Stevie and Clara. I've got Stevie with me now. Say hello, Steve. Hey. I used to have 2 goldfish as well. One was called Bird's Eye and one was called Fingers. So yeah, that's it.
First of all, Marshmallow is an incredibly good name for a hamster, so hats off to you for that. I do have a pet. I have a dog called Buster. We rescued him from the kennels when he was maybe 2-ish, and I think he's 12 now, so he's like a little old man now, but yeah, he's dead canny.
So I've got 3 dogs called Molly, Mac and Rex, and I've also got quite a lot of cows as well, so that's quite cool.
So I've got a dog called Roxy. She's about 16 years old, still going strong. She's a black Labrador and she's absolutely lovely, so friendly. And I actually have a cat called Dusty, or at least my mum does, because I'm allergic to cats, but she's alright as well, I suppose.
What's your hardest team you've ever played against?
What's the hardest team I've ever played against? Oh, it's a very good question. I'd probably say back when I was younger, we used to play like the academies and stuff. When we played Man City Academy, they were a very, very good side. So probably one of those.
I played against quite a few difficult teams, to be fair. At my time at Sunderland Reserves when I was younger, we played against the likes of Man City, Liverpool, Everton, who were always incredibly hard to beat. Well set out teams, had always good tactics, but I'd say the hardest was probably my time at Newcastle. We played against Durham first team in a pre-season friendly, and they were just unbelievable, to be fair, which shows now because I think they're undefeated now in WSL2, but that was a few years back and they were just quality, to be fair. So I think they would probably be the best team I've ever played against.
I've played against a lot of tough teams, the likes of Espanyol on tour in Spain, Manchester City, Man United, Liverpool, Sunderland were always a tough game, but I'd probably say either Man City or Sunderland. Sunderland purely just because it's a rival game. It's always going to be a tough match to go into. Both teams are always kind of wanting to win just because how rivalry it is. Obviously we're close to each other and it's always a must-win game for both teams. So probably Sunderland would be the toughest games I've ever played in.
The hardest team I've played against, playing for Borough, would have to be Blackburn, as they're a very physical side and we're not that physical, but they were just so good all rounded. They were fast, they were physical, they scored goals. They were just a really good team, which shows it because they've been promoted.
How old were you when you started playing football?
How old was I when I started playing football? I think I were about 4 when I started playing football. I played for my older brother's boys football team.
I don't actually know how old I was when I first started playing. My mum and dad have always said I started kicking the ball as soon as I could walk, and I think I joined my first football team when I was maybe about 3 or 4, just a local boys team. So I'm nearly 26 now, so it's a long time.
I started playing football from quite a young age. I started going to like little clubs and things, FA skills sessions when I was about, I think, 4 years old. And then my first ever team was when I was 7, and that was Middlesbrough Centre of Excellence.
I started to play football at 4 years old. So there was a football in the back garden and apparently I used to just kick it about. So my mum took us to a football team with all the lads. So my brother actually got dragged around with us at a football team. So he was 2 and I was 4. He had to watch though, but yeah, started at 4 years old.
How do you feel before you play a big match?
How do I feel before I play a big match? I used to really struggle and I used to find myself very, very nervous before a game. But now I've learned to deal with my nerves a little bit better, and I am a little bit nervous still, but I think it's quite good nerves, and I'm excited to play as well. And especially at Borough, I know we've got a very good team behind us, so I'm always excited to get playing and try and get a result as well.
I get asked a lot before a game if I'm nervous, and 9 times out of 10 I don't actually get nervous. I think it's probably because I feel I've got the faith and the ability of the squad and myself, so I don't often get nervous. I would say the main emotion or main feeling that I have before a game is excitement. Like, I'm eager to play, I'm eager to win, always want to win, so I would feel it's more excitement rather than nervous or anything like that. So yeah.
So for me, before a big match or any match, I don't really get nervous. I'm more of a kind of, I just want to win, I want to get out there, I want to be playing. But there is one game which throughout all my years of playing I've always felt nervous for, and that's Sunderland. And I think that's because obviously we're such big rivals. Growing up, even in the RTC or in the car on the way to play them, I was always nervous, felt ill. But as soon as I got on the pitch, my nerves kind of disappeared and I absolutely loved it. And that was the same when we played them at the Stadium of Light. I think I was definitely nervous for that game because obviously it was such a big opportunity. So yeah, that's probably the only ever match which I get nervous for, is playing against Sunderland, because they're just such big rivals and it's always a game that you want to go and win, and it's just always a great game to be involved in.
I get a little bit nervous because if I play, say, Sunderland, I know quite a lot of the girls, I've played alongside them, maybe it's at uni or college, so you have to put your game day face on and you have to be serious, so it makes you a little bit more nervous. But go through everything normal, get a good warm up, have my normal things, got my blue hairband on, my boots, and just try as hard as I can in the warm up and game face ready.
What advice would you give to a young footballer like me?
What advice would I give a young footballer? I would say keep working hard, keep enjoying the game, that's one of the main things, and the opportunities in football for girls is growing hugely, so take every opportunity and relish it.
Good question. Best advice I could probably give to a young footballer like yourself would be always work hard, whether that's in training, off the pitch, in extra training, on the pitch, during football games. Always train how you would play, because it's only going to work out best for yourself. Always have the right attitude, which is really important, and probably continue to play football for as long as it makes you happy. It would be probably my best advice. If it's something that you love to do, just play until you can't play anymore. Always play with a smile on your face as well. I think that's key and very important. So yeah.
I think advice which I would give to young girls growing up like yourselves, who have the dreams of becoming a footballer, is keep working hard, keep training, keep practicing with your friends, your parents, at school, by yourself, absolutely anything. Every little will help in the future, and if you keep working hard to follow your dreams, you'll definitely get there, and just stick with it. And you do have the good and bad times, but if you stick with it and you're motivated and you're positive, you'll definitely get there.
I would say don't give up, you've got to trust the process. I remember being your age and I went through a tough time because I was moving around at positions, but at that age you could be a striker and you might grow up and you might be a centre back, so you really don't know yet. So honestly, just try whatever positions your coach want to be in, because they know what's best. So just train hard, train well, because hard work beats talent every day.
Bye.